Today, we have before us a comic simply titled 16. This comic was drawn, written, created, directed, produced, choreographed by TheRailz, aka TheRailz, aka the comic genius, which the piece before us shows the true genius that this man has. The comic starts out simple, with a man saying, "I need groceries," something we can all relate to. The second panel continues, "Where is the door?" as the man frantically searches for the exit portal to the box that he is in. The third panel, we have the man crumbling, tearing up, as he succumbs to his dire strait, with the statement, "I haven't had human contact in 8 months." It's riveting on the surface level, but the deeper we look, the farther down the rabbit hole we go, we see there is more to the story than what meets the eye. Let's start with the first panel. What does he mean when he says, "I need groceries"? What does that statement mean in itself? Well, everybody needs groceries. Everybody needs to fill their cabinets. Everybody needs to cook. Everybody needs to clean up after themselves. Everybody needs to take out the trash, and more importantly, they need to nourish themselves. That is the only way us automatons can survive, is if we nourish ourselves. We cannot have a silver spoon in our mouth the entire time we are alive. Yes, quite. So in the statement, "I need groceries," he's not asking for groceries. No. What he means by "I need groceries," he is feeling empty. He's starting to come to the realization that he is empty inside. The seemingly happy tone of his facial expression says that he is dealing with it. He is content, but mildly unnerved. Then we move on to the second panel. Where is the door? And you notice there isn't a question mark in the statement, which makes this a rhetorical statement. He already knows there is no door. But what does that say on a metaphysical level, on a personal, emotional level? Where is the door? He's asking himself where the door is, yet he knows the answer. There is no door. Staring at the wall as if the door would magically appear, which is hope. Based on that hope, you see on the back of this man a slight facial structure. You follow the facial structure down to the ass crack. The ass crack itself is not complete. That ass was not a mistake. The comic genius himself intended for this man to have a half ass in order for us to realize that that is not an ass. No, in the shape that it is, in conjunction with the rest of the markings on the back making a face, that is not an ass, people. That is a mouth, which applies to the rhetorical statement, "Where is the door?" That is a complete panel, and I have fallen in love with this panel. I would love to marry this panel, but unfortunately I can't, because it is a panel. I cannot marry a panel. I cannot have a panel baby. I would, if I could. Third, and finally, we move on to our next panel. The final panel. The one panel that wraps this entire thing up and makes the boldest statement in this entire strip. As we have said before, "I haven't had human contact in 8 months," says this poor husk of a man. He is in a fetal position. He is crying out. He is reverting back to the original state in which he entered this world, crying. Yet still, subtly, you can see the smile that he originally had in the first panel. It's still there, which means he is fighting to keep it together. "I haven't had contact in 8 months. What does that imply? It means that he is going through something we like to call reproductive isolation. The mechanisms of reproductive isolation are a collection of evolutionary mechanisms, behaviors, and psychological processes critical for speciation. They prevent members of different species from producing offspring or ensure that any offspring are sterile. The environment may impose an external barrier to reproduction, such as a river or mountain range between two incipient species. It is to believe that this external barrier alone will make them separate, full-fledged species. Do you know what this means? This means that this man, unbeknownst to him, is partaking in neo-humanism. People, this man is going to transcend before our very eyes if we were to observe this process a little bit longer. But he is being taunted by the carpet. If you zoom in, you see right there, and look with your third eye, you will be able to see the word sex drawn everywhere on this carpet. This artist, TheRailz, is truly a comic genius.